in this Suratul Kahf, now he didn't do the sabr, Musa alayhi salam. So the story continues. So in the killing of a boy, the verse 74 of Suratul Kahf tells that on their travel they came across a boy and Khazar killed him. So Musa alayhi salam said, you have killed an innocent person, you have done a very bad thing. So Khizr replied, I did say that you wouldn't be able to stay patient with me. So Musa alayhi salam replied, if I ask you another question, then do not let me stay with you. You will have the reason. Then the building of a wall. Further on their travel, they came across some town people, asked them for food, but they did not give them any hospitality. So, however, despite this, Sayyidina Khizr fixed a crumbling wall in the village. And Musa alayhi salam asked, you could have at least asked this inconsiderate people for a payment for our labor. Khizr declared, from now our paths separated. But first I will tell you the wisdom behind my 3 acts, the reason for these 3 acts. The boat in the ocean belonged to a poor hard-working boy, and ahead was a tyrant king, forcibly taking every good and proper boat. So I damaged their boat so that it would not be taken off them. The parent of a boy I killed were believers, and there was a danger that when he got older, he would embroil them in transgression and kufr. And in his place, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give them a purer and tender heart son. And the third was the wall in the village belonged to 2 orphan boys, and buried beneath it was their treasure. Their father was a righteous person, and your Lord wished that when they grew older, they take out the treasure through their Lord's mercy. I did not do these 3 acts based on my own opinion. It was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded. So you could not stay patient, sabr, and you in your impatience ask questions. So Zulkarnain and the Great Wall. So verse number 83 to 110 mention about Zulkarnain. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given him rule on the earth. He left on an expedition and reached the place from where the sun rose, and he found a nation upon whom sun was shining with all its light and splendor. He then left on another expedition and reached a valley between 2 mountains. On one side of the mountain was a nation that did not understand any word and said, O Zulkarnain, Yajuj and Majuj are creating trouble on earth. We will give you some material with which to build a strong wall between us and them. So Zulkarnain said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me strength. You will help me with your numbers, and I will build you a strong wall between them. And copper and iron were melted into that wall so that it would become indestructible, and Yajuj Majuj were not able to climb over it. So Zulkarnain said, this wall has been built as a result of my Lord's mercy, Rahmah, and my Lord's appointed it time it will turn into dust. Then comes the good works of the disbelievers in Akhirah. So in the last ayahs of Suratul Kahf, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said that the disbelievers commit shirk, and He has kept hell prepared for them. The apparent good work of the dunya will be of no use to them in the Akhirah. Then mention the blessing of Jannah for the believers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's word would never complete it. So in the final verses, Allah states, if all the oceans and many more like them were become ink, they would all be exhausted before the words of Lord and had been completed in the last ayahs. And Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not being God. I am like a human being. He's a bashar. The revelation to me is your God is one God. So whoever is convinced of meeting his Lord on the day of Qiyamah should continue doing good and make no partner in the worship of his Lord. Then Suratul Maryam start. This is a Makki surah. It was 44th surah to be revealed and mentions Sayyidina Maryam, and so it's named after her. This surah mention about Tawheed and life after death, the birth of Yahya alayhi salam, the miraculous birth of Isa al-Islam, and he's speaking in the cradle. And the debates between Ibrahim and Azar and Isaac al-Islam's birth, Zakaria al-Islam's dua was accepted. The surah states that Zakaria had no offspring and had reached very old age. He made the dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for children who could become his Yaqub's heirs. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him glad tidings of a son and said his name will be Yahya. This shows that one can choose a name before the birth. Virtue of Yahya al-Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed Yahya al-Islam with a prophethood and a book whistled. He was still a child and described him as follows: he is pure, righteous, he was good towards his parents, he did not transgress, and salam upon him when he was born, when he passed away, when he will rise on Qiyamah. This reveals that sending salam upon Prophet at his birth is divine practice, sunnah. The glad tidings of Maryam al-Islam. After this mention of Maryam al-Islam, she went far away from her family and took up a discreet and covered place. An angel came to her in human form and said, I have been sent by your Lord, and gave her the glad tidings of a pure son. So Maryam al-Islam asked how she could have a son when no human have ever touched me, nor I am a wicked woman. So the angel said, this is the matter. Easy for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah will make him a sign for the people. And this decision has been determined by Allah. So she became pregnant and went far to under a palm tree and began saying, if only I had died before this and become forgotten. So the angels called out, to whom? To Maryam al-Islam, do not be grieved. Allah has laid forth a river under you, shake the palm tree and fresh dates, because she needs to eat something. She was in a labor pain, and falls upon you. See, so she drank, and keep your eyes cool. And if a human asks you, say, I have taken a vow of silence. Like everybody would be asking her, how come without, marriage, a son was born? So she was asked to be silent, and she was silent. And the word, there it has been used for the one who is fasting, Sam. So Siam, and she was being silent. She will be not talking. Then Isa al-Islam talks in his mother's lap. She returned to the people carrying the child, and the people started saying the things. And Maryam al-Islam pointed her child, and people protest. How could they talk to a child lying in the lap of her mother? The child answered, I am a servant of Allah. Inni Abdullah. He has given me prophethood and book and made me blessed. He has ordered me to establish prayer, Iqamus Salat, Ita Zakat, give Zakat throughout my lifetime. And I am obedient to my mother, means to Maryam al-Islam. The Quran said Isa ibn Maryam. He is not son of God. He is ibn Maryam. And he is pure. Allah is pure from having a son. Ibrahim al-Islam dialogue with the Azar from verse number 41. There is once again mention of Ibrahim al-Islam. He was extremely truthful prophet. He stopped his common law, was father from worshipping idols and warned of divine punishment. His common law, father replied, you want to turn us away from our gods, refrain or you will be stoned. Because they were, the people who are very transgressing. So they are saying, we will be stoning to death to Ibrahim al-Islam. So Ibrahim al-Islam replied, keep seeking forgiveness. Yani istighfar. I will ask istighfar for the father, for his own father. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala later on said not to make istighfar for the person who is doing the shirk. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave glad tidings of Isaac and Yaqub and attributes of various prophets from ayah number 51 to 58. Musa al-Islam has been chosen as a messenger. Then talking about Harun al-Islam, then Ismail al-Islam, and giving the zakat and doing the prayer. Warning for the disbelievers, disobedient people in ayah number 59. Ayah number 66 talks about the rejectors of the Akhirah. They don't believe in it. And ayah number 76 talks about the misguidance. And attributing offsprings to Allah is a severe matter. Ayah number 88 tells that, kuffar have set a very severe thing by attributing offspring to Allah. It is such a serious crime that sky could break because of it, because Allah don't like it. Then people will love the righteous people undoubtedly. Surah Taha starts. This is a Makki surah, 54 to be revealed. Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is addressed by its first words, Taha. So the surah has been named Taha. This surah mentions oneness, truthfulness, Quran, Prophet's messengership, proof of Qiyamah. It also mentioned the Musa al-Islam, Adam al-Islam, the story of Iblis. The Prophet is not in hardship. When disbelievers of the Quraysh saw Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam praying very long prayers, they started saying that ever since leaving the deen of his forefather, he has fallen into great hardship and the strife. In response, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said at the start of this surah, O Taha, we have not revealed this Quran so that you fall into hardship and trouble. So this Quran was revealed for nasiha, counsel, and Allah knows all inward and outward. Allah is one with no partners. And Allah speaking to Musa al-Islam, ayah number 10, mention an event that happened to Musa al-Islam on his way back from Madian. He left his wife at a place and went to the Tur to find fire. There he heard a call from unseen saying, O Musa, I am your Lord and Allah. You are in blessed valley of Dawah, Muqaddas. Take off your shoes and have out of respect. I have chosen you. So listen to the revelation of the message attentively. I am Allah, the One, no partners. Establish prayer and remember me. Qiyamah is approaching. So Musa al-Islam's miracles. At this juncture, he was given following miracles. He would put his stick into the ground. It would turn into a running snake. When he would pick up, it would become stick again. Further, when he put his arm under the shirt, it would appear shining like sun. Musa al-Islam's supplication, he was ordered to go invite Pharaoh to the truth. So Musa al-Islam supplicate from ayah number 25-28. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. To open the chest and untie the knot of his tongue. This is the dua we should recite when we do the Quran. It's the best dua. And some Mufassirin said during childhood a hot coal was put on his tongue which caused a stammer, and to cure it supplicated, Allah knows best. So he further pleaded, make from my family my brother Harun my minister in this mission so that I am strengthened, and make him my ally. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted his dua. Musa al-Islam's birth and upbringing from ayah number 38. The mention of situation at the time, like Musa al-Islam's birth, astrologers had told Pharaoh that a boy was going to be born to Bani Israel who will cause his destruction. So Pharaoh ordered the killing of every newborn to Bani Israel. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala placed the thought in the mind of Musa al-Islam's mother to put her in newborn in a box and set off in the river, and with Allah's will it would reach the river bank, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's enemy would find it, and Musa al-Islam's mother did so that Musa could be raised under Allah's supervision. And Musa al-Islam's sister walked alongside the river, keeping an eye on the box. Then when the time came, Pharaoh placed to find a woman to suckle him. He did not take to anyone date. His sister then mentioned his mother, without revealing she was his mother. In this way, Allah blessed Musa's mother with the coolness of her eyes and the contentment of the heart. So inviting Pharaoh to truth, ayah number 43. So Musa alayhi salam and Harun commanded to go to Pharaoh, and he was transgressor, and invite him gently. The tenderness becomes he might accept the counsel. So even though going to Pharaoh, they were asked to be very tender, soft. So Musa and Harun expressed their fear of Pharaoh torturing them. So Allah reassured them, do not worry, I am with you. I hear you and see you. They both went to Pharaoh and said, we are Allah's messenger, do not pain the Bani Israel and send them with us. Pharaoh argued with Sayyidina Musa and Harun about Allah and caused them of being magician, and after calling his own magician, he challenged them to be competition specific day. The details of this have been mentioned previously. So the magician lost the contest and miracle overcame, and the magicians, they fell into sajda. They believe in the one God. And leaving Egypt, 77 Sayyidina Musa is ordered to leave the Bani Israel that very night. So Allah reassured him that a dry path would be created for them through the ocean. So Pharaoh chased them and he drowned in the ocean. At the juncture, once again reminded Bani Israel of his favors. They were worshipping the calf again, because when Musa alayhi salam went to get the, the slates of the Torah, and in his back, they started making the idol. In ayah number 85, mention about Samri, he misled Bani Israel. When he returned from Mount Tur after 40 days, they started worshipping calf, and he got upset and asked his own brother what went wrong. And then he said, it was not in my hands. I tried to stop them, but they were not listening. He got very upset. Then spectacles of Qiyamah, how the Qiyamah will be everything into be dust, even the mountains. Then dua for increasing knowledge, Rabbi Zidni Ilma. Then Adam al-Islam and Hawa al-Islam, and how Iblis didn't do the sajda, and how they were expelled from the Jannah. Effects of neglecting Allah's zikr, and they will be raised blind. Remember Allah, like be patient on disbelievers' words. Punishment will come on its time. So this was juz number 16. Jazakallah khairan kaseera.